Well, hey! Welcome to another episode of Beetle Dustino coming at you again today with yet another video and yet another Beatles colored vinyl video. I'm going to be sticking on this topic because I'm excited. It came. I wasn't even planning this for this video, but it finally got here. So we're going to take a look at this, and then we're going to talk about some colored vinyl issues that I missed. So yes, I finally got my copy of A Hard Day's Night National Album Day. I'll show you the hype sticker there. I've already got it open, so it's not going to be like an unboxing, but I'm sure everybody's seen it because it seemed like I got mine super late. There is the hype sticker. Of course, this is the 2009 remaster, digital remaster, unfortunately, the stereo copy. That would have been nice if they would have done the mono, but I'm just as happy with this. There is the front. I'll show you the spine here quick. And the back. And I ordered mine direct through the Beatles store, the UK store. They had it available there. It was expensive, yes, but it wasn't terrible. It's probably a lot cheaper. I haven't even checked eBay or any of those to see what these are going for now. I heard somebody say they're going pretty expensive. So yes, it was expensive through that, but it still wasn't as expensive as if you were trying it, weeks after. But it seemed to take forever to ship. And I mean, I expected it was going to be a little while coming from the UK. Anything international shipping right now is just crazy. Even was before 2020. So, that didn't help out anything. So it's still crazy. But yeah, it took forever. And it was getting kind of frustrating. I was planning this video because I'd done the video a few weeks back because of talking about this and because of the Meet the Beatles that's coming out now a couple weeks actually. It was kind of exciting that there was some new Beatles colored vinyl, officially issued Beatles colored vinyl to talk about, and it's a rare thing. And I had done that video discussing what has officially been out there so far, and there was quite a bit of stuff I missed. And so thanks to my viewers, and that I'm going to go through. Whoa, something happened up there. I think everything's all right, but yeah, I'm going to go through what I missed there, and I also found some others that my viewers didn't let me know about, so I'll let you know on that. I found a great website to do the research on, which I wish I would have found before because I would have not missed anything. But anyways, yes, let's take a look at this first. So Hard Day's Night, I've showed you the front, the back, the hype stickers, all that. So let's take a look at the record now, because that is the main thing here, right? I didn't notice that the other day. Huh, little dirt there. Huh, interesting. I just opened it up last night, so anyways. But yeah, let's take a look at that white vinyl on it, which is just great. I was a little disappointed at first that it was just white, but it looks really good. It does make sense with the album. I think blue or red maybe would have been a little more, probably blue. The US one probably red, but yeah, white makes sense too though. But there it is on the Parlophone label there. Looking great. Side 2 there, side 1 there. I'm very excited to get this. It's so cool having Beatles colored vinyl. I'm a Beatles fan. I love colored vinyl, and it's just so rare to get, and there's an official release of it. Believe it or not, I did find another Hard Day's Night that was released on colored vinyl in this redig on this, so we'll get going through that. Let me get this put up here. So yeah, I want to thank all my viewers that let me know of stuff I missed. Like I said in that original video, I'm not going to have everything right. I'm going to try to be as informative as I can be, but there's always going to be stuff I miss, and I just kind of want to get it out there with what, and I appreciate everybody letting me know what I did miss there in that. And then I did find, I'm going to credit them right away, rarerecords.net has got a great article on there about Beatles colored vinyl. Why I didn't think of Googling this before when I did the last research there, but they had a really great article on it and really broke it down with where everything was and what and such, even all the other countries and that. So I found quite a few missing ones on there, and quite a few of them that were mentioned by my viewers were on that too. So really cool that everything kind of lined up there. So let's go through. The number one thing that people seem to mention was the US, or the Capitol Jukebox Singles that came out in, I think it was the early 90s, 92, 93, 94. I think there was a few released every year kind of thing. Those ones were the first ones. I'm just going to have the one picture up there of it, just to give you an example. I'm not going to go through every single one. Please just go look it up somewhere. There's articles out there on them all. Because it's a lot to go through. As a matter of fact, I'm going to link in the description here. Beetle Dave had a really good video on it, and no, not Beetle Dave, I'm sorry. Not that I don't want to give you credit on stuff. I'm sure you do, but sorry, Andrew Brooks. Andrew Brooks had a really good video on it, and I'll have that linked below. I think he had all but one or two that he showed in there, so if you want to go see it, go look at that. He's actually got them in that, so I don't have any of these. Completely missed it, but it's really cool on that purple Capitol label. They look really great, and there's some really fun colors in there too. I mean, a lot of kind of are your standard ones too, like, you know, your reds, your whites, stuff like that. But there were some fun colors too, like pinks and stuff. Yeah, go check that out though. Some of them made sense with the single, some of them didn't. And they all, that purple Capitol label, I don't know what it is. That's a really good label, so that one looks really kind of cool on it. So yeah, go check those out though. The next one I'm going to start with is the Japan Red, the Everclean is what they call it, I guess. And I guess those were first pressings. So that's one way to know that you got the first pressing is if it's on that red, if you get the Japanese copies there. It was on that red vinyl, that Everclean vinyl. And it's kind of a darker red. It's not a bright red. It's kind of a darker red. And there were a few of those I missed, and I'll go through those really quick. There was the Beatles Story in 1966, and I'm going to try to go slow on this so you can see the covers here. One thing I love on these, I'm probably going to show more of the album cover because I love the Obi strips. I have became such an Obi strip fan lately. I'm probably going to do a whole thing on Obi strips one of these days. I'm really hype sticker. I geeked out a lot on hype stickers on one of my recent videos. I'm probably going to do a whole video on that. That video was not intended to be a hype sticker video, but I'll probably do that on the CD releases at least. I'm becoming such a fan of Obi strips. They're so cool. I think part of it is the Paul McCartney SHM CDs that have been being released recently and the cool Obi strips on those. And I've always been a fan of them anyway, but you know, doing this research too, I'm seeing a lot of them. Yeah, but the Beatles Story will be the first one up there. It hit me afterwards that I didn't look up a collection of Beatles oldies. I never think of that because it was never in the U.S. really, and it's never really been anything in the U.S. But in other parts of the world, it was a pretty big thing. So even though I don't think people loved it as much as the rest of the stuff, but it's been there since '66. It's been in Japan since '67 on the Red Everclean vinyl. The one that surprised me, so those were, I think I covered everything else pretty good, even the Japan exclusives, the albums that were exclusive to Japan. In 1970, they had a bunch come out that were the U.S. albums, which kind of surprised me. And I got those listed here, and those I completely missed because I wouldn't have thought of looking up U.S. albums released in Japan on red vinyl. Well, the Red Everclean vinyl, because there's a reason why I got to be specific on this coming up here, and you'll see here soon. But Beatles 6 was one of those that got released, and that was in 1970. The early Beatles was one of the next on that. Something New, Yesterday and Today, and that would be it. So, and of course that was the trunk cover on that for Yesterday and Today, not the butcher cover, unfortunately. But those had Apple labels on them too, so that another unique thing. They weren't Capitol labels like we're used to here. They were the Apple labels, so kind of cool on that. Okay, and another one I want to talk about is not a Beatles album per se. It's a Beatles cover album, but it seemed to get a lot of credit there from rarerecords.net. It's called Beatles Without the Beatles, and it looked really cool. They said the picture was pretty rare. That's kind of unique on that. And that came out in 1966, and it's a Beatles cover album, and I love the play on with the Beatles, without the Beatles. But yeah, anyways, that's another one that I'll mention in there, and I think I've got all those covered. There is some more Japanese releases that are coming up, so we'll get to those in just a second. So I'm going to kind of go, they kind of had it alphabetized by country, and I'll kind of go with that. Now, this country was the one that I had a lot of viewers telling me about. I don't know how I missed these, because I think most of them came out in 1978, and I wasn't finding much past that, so I kind of stopped looking after that, I think maybe. Because I was just kind of scrolling through Discogs and looking, you know, what said, because usually Discogs will list, you know, if it's a colored vinyl, red or yellow or whatever, they'll put it after the description on the vinyl there. So I was just kind of doing that, and I might have kind of glazed over as I got lower down in the years because I wasn't seeing much on the other years. But in Australia in 1987, they did have three kind of unique to their country that were officially released. The first one would be a Sgt. Pepper's on red. I also found there was, they call it a pinkish red on that. So it looked a little more lighter red or something. So it was almost pink. So I don't know if that was or just a mess up in the pressing maybe, or if it was intended to be a variation on it. So I'm not sure, but I'll have a picture of that up there too. Now this one I thought was really cool because they got the Beatles, the White Album, not just on white vinyl, but a translucent white vinyl. And I think if they do reissue the White Album on a white vinyl, because that's been done over the years several times, it would be cool if it was something a little different like that, like a translucent white. So good on you, Australia, for doing that. And then they also had Yellow Submarine on a yellow vinyl, and I think they were the only country that did Yellow Submarine. So, and on the yellow vinyl, there was obviously the Yellow Submarine song track, you know, in '99 that got the yellow vinyl, but the original Yellow Submarine album on yellow vinyl. So that was cool. So good on you, Australia, on that one too. Another one I missed was a Canadian one. I think this was one of the only ones I missed from Canada, I didn't maybe necessarily. Canada usually, if the US had it, the UK had it, usually Canada had it too. So forgive me if I didn't specifically mention Canada, but that's kind of what I meant on that. And I'm only going to really mention most of these. A lot of these were pressed in other countries, like Germany had a lot of, you know, different colored ones, but they also were pressed in the UK, and I've kind of covered that. So there wasn't anything, maybe a different hype sticker on that. But yeah, Canada did have a unique one though, and it was Sgt. Pepper's, and this was in '78 also. And it was on a gray marble. Is it the best looking one? I don't know. I could see that it could be cool if it had a little more of the other color in it, but it kind of looks strange to me. But I'm sure it's really collectible and unique. Still cool on that because it's a Beatles colored vinyl. Another one I totally missed because it seemed like it was more of the newer albums. But France, along with the really cool, they had the 8 different Sgt. Pepper's ones, and they had a lot of the other ones that got Sgt. Pepper's. I think they had the Green Abbey Road, stuff like that came out UK, US, and Canada. They had a lot of those ones too. But they had one unique one. They had a copy of Help on orange vinyl, also in 1978. I have that pictured up there. So that one's really kind of cool. Orange is kind of a unique one for Help, though, I would think. To me, I would go blue or red with that one, or white. Yeah, orange I would not think of, but it still looks cool. So, and I love those hype stickers they use. Those are really cool too. And now we're going to get back to Japan as we're swinging back. Like I said, hold on, we got more from Japan. And this one's pretty cool. In 1982, and I think this is a really cool set, and not just for colored vinyl, but it was again on red, but it's a different red than the Everclean red. It's more of a solid, bright red, where that Everclean is kind of translucent, somewhat see-through, and kind of that darker red. This was just a bright, solid red. It was the UK mono versions of all these albums, which was really cool, because Japan didn't have a few of these original ones. They kind of had their own version of it, and then even when they did finally release it, they had a different cover on it and stuff. So, and I think they did stereo versions, if I remember correct, too, on those. So this was kind of cool for them to get a mono pressing of it. And the fact that it was the UK mono pressing, that wasn't altered from the UK pressing at all, or the UK recordings, at least, or the mixes. So, and that it would basically just be the first albums up, that like the in mono box, with one additional one, which I was kind of surprised on. But I think there was a mono version of that too, just not, for some reason, hasn't been celebrated as much recently, with the in mono CD box that came out in 2009 and the in mono vinyl box that came out in 2014. So it's basically the first album. So it's Please Please Me, be the first one there. And I'll have one picture, I think the Please Please Me I grabbed, of the red vinyl there. So you can see kind of the difference there. They're all going to look the same past that, so I'm not going to show any of the other labels on that, or what it looks like, because they all look this way. There'll be one that I will show because I think it's kind of cool, even though it is the same look, but the fact of the album that it is. The next one would be With the Beatles on the red, and I love the Obies on these. Those Obies look just great. That's why I want to show more of the Obies. Like I said, I'm geeking out over Obies now, and that's not even what this video is intended to be. The next one would be A Hard Day's Night. So yeah, there we go again on that, except mono, not the stereo. The UK mono too at that. And then the next one would be Beatles for Sale. Now we're kind of, no, we're still not. Help, Japan did have their own kind of version on that too. I think a little different album cover or something was different about it. I can't remember, but anyways, yeah, so Help. And now we're into kind of unique ones. They did release these, but I think they were all stereo. But Rubber Soul would be the next one. And then Revolver and Sgt. Pepper's. This is the one that I think is cool, and I'm going to show, first we'll show that, the album cover with the Obi strip, the Beatles, the White Album. And the White Album on red vinyl. How cool is that? Like I said, if they do the White Album again, I hope they do something a little different than just the White Album. I hope they do like a translucent white, or just go crazy like that and do a bright red vinyl with it. Something that just completely goes the opposite of what you think. And then they also had Yellow Submarine, which was a shock. And that one, I'm going to throw a picture up too, because Yellow Submarine, you're always thinking yellow, not red. So that one's kind of unique with that too. So that should wrap it up for Japan on that. We got 2 more countries here I'm going to really focus on, and then I'm going to mention some about some other ones here. So the Netherlands also had some really great ones, also in 1978. So, like I said, 78 seemed to be the main year on all this. I didn't mention in there, I think Words in the Corner kind of said once at least, but I missed several of them. The Red and the Blue album, I think the White album too, got released several times. Red album on the red, Blue album on the blue, White album on the white, in several different countries over several different times. So at least 2 or 3 different times since the 78 ones. Those ones I didn't really cover, but I'll mention it there quick. But anyways, the Netherlands had another set in 1978, kind of some unique ones. The one was a greatest hits, the Beatles Greatest, I think it's called, the picture up there. And that they had 4 different color variations on it. And I think it was, again, you didn't know what you got. You just bought it, opened it up, you got whatever color. But the one was a gold one, and I guess that one's a pretty rare one. However, that one got reissued again. They're not, from what I read on Discogs or wherever, no, I think that was on rarerecords.net. They said they weren't sure what year it was released in, but there was at least one other gold one released one year. And that one, I think, from what I got, was a little more common, but the one in 78 was pretty rare. There was also a purple one, an orange one, and a yellow one. And those were all that Beatles Greatest, which was a compilation I don't think we ever really got over here. I think Netherlands, I think Germany had a copy of that too. I think there was a couple of different countries that Words in the Corner will correct me on that if I'm wrong on that. I guess I know for sure the Netherlands, because the colored vinyl versions of that were released there. Also, I'm going to mention they had a version of Sgt. Pepper's that was on a yellow vinyl. I know France did too, and like I said, I'm not trying to double up if it was already in one country, but that was the only color that they got in the Netherlands, was the yellow. So I thought that would be unique to mention there. Now, the other one, I said, there's another color version of Hard Day's Night out there. Most of the older albums haven't got the colored vinyl treatment, so that's pretty unique too, that their 3rd album released has now finally got a colored vinyl version with Hard Day's Night. But in Peru, in 1986, there was a clear vinyl version of A Hard Day's Night, and I'll have the picture up there. They got a slightly different cover too, different blue that they use, so that's kind of cool. I love that picture there with the clear vinyl over the album cover. You can see it right through it. That's really kind of cool, that picture. That was that one on that, and I think I've got it pretty covered now. Like I said, I'm sure there's still plenty out there that I've missed, and I'm going to bring that up with this because there were some other countries, and this rarerecords.net wasn't clear on this, and I did find a few in a few of these. I know Colombia I mentioned, Mexico I mentioned too, and they weren't on this list. But they didn't go into specifics on it because it sounded like it's like they pop up here and there. They know they're authentic, but legitimate releases, official release, but there isn't enough data on it to, at least for them to know for sure. But Brazil, Colombia, Ecuador, Germany, I'm going to mention here, but they had a lot that were the same as the other countries. The pressings were the same as like the French or the UK ones that came to the US or whatever, or the Canadian ones. So Germany was pretty spot on with those colors. So that's why I'm not going to mention anything specifically from Germany. I understand they had those colors released on their pressing plants there. South Africa was another one, and Spain was another one. So there's at least some other variations out there from those countries. I just didn't see any specifics. I didn't notice in Discogs either. Like, I know there was Colombian, something on blue I found in Colombia. I think it was one of the later compilations, like real music or something like that. Not, kind of the main albums, but like I said, they've got Colombia listed here as there was stuff known to be from there on colored vinyl officially released. So anyways, I think that's going to wrap it up for that. Part of the reason why I got this video out there is I've been researching a picture disc version. I kind of mentioned that in the original video, that it seemed like they do picture disc, but not so much colored vinyl. But they've been doing a lot of official picture disc lately. I was kind of surprised on that, but I started researching that to see what's been out there officially too, and there's not as much as I thought. It's only been a more recent thing. I did find a couple of official things older than what we've known recently, since Sgt. Pepper's in 2017 was, I think, kind of the one that kicked that off. But I found a few things, but I'll go through that. And I thought I should do kind of an amendment video of the colored one, kind of an update on what I missed before I move on to something else on this. So yeah, I've got that one planned. Hopefully that'll be next Saturday. We'll just call it right now. I'll say next Saturday, unless something crazy comes up. Oh yeah. That might be George Harrison living in the material world that weekend, now that I think about it. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But you'll be seeing that coming soon. Maybe I'll do Wednesday with that one then instead. So I don't know. We'll see. Everything's crazy right now because we got everything coming. So, and we got the U.S. albums on mono coming the next week, and the documentary coming the next week. So we're going to be very busy, those of us with Beatles channels, talking about Beatles. And I absolutely love that. I love talking Beatles. I don't got friends in physical form that I can really talk to that, but I love having you friends out there on YouTube I can talk to this about. So, and I can just sit up and stare at my camera talking, and then you guys watch it, and then you get to respond in the comments. So please respond in the comments. Again, let me know if I missed anything, because like I said, I don't think I'm complete on this. I think there's definitely stuff out there I've missed. I'd love to know what's out there officially. It's not like I'm ever going to go collecting any of it. It's hard enough to find the stuff that was officially released in the U.S. here, let alone some that was released in Peru. Not saying it's impossible, but I don't want to go digging too hard there. I'm still just curious to see, because it seems like it's such a rare thing for the Beatles, and why that is. And I would love to see more of this happen. More of this. And in a couple of weeks, like I said, we're going to have Meet the Beatles on the blue vinyl, and I can't wait to show that and see that. Got my copy pre-ordered. I'm so happy I got this. I said when this got announced, I was so hoping I was going to be able to find a copy. I did. And I hope you guys all did too. I hope people had seen that you could get it shipped to the U.S. from overseas there. So from the UK there. Yeah, I'm very happy to have this. So happy to have this in my collection. I don't even have a copy of the UK Hard Day's Night in my vinyl collection yet. So, but I'm very happy that my first one in is a colored vinyl version. And that's, I think I'm more a colored vinyl collector, and that's why I maybe slacked a little on my recent Beatles vinyl, because there isn't any. I hope that's going to change here with this release. And maybe these lists that I got going here will get added to. But anyways, before I get going too much more, I feel like I'm really rambling. I want to once again thank all my subscribers, and thanks to any new subscribers. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. And do hit the notification bell so you know when I got new videos coming out, like my picture disc video that I'm going to be having out one of these days. Hopefully very soon. But we'll have to see what George Harrison's releases and stuff do with it. And also, if you do like the video, please give it a like. And like I always say, if you've stuck around to this point, you must like it. So please give it a like. It really does help out the channel and the video. And do leave a comment. I love having a discussion with everybody. Let me know your thoughts on Beatles colored vinyl. Do you want to see more? Did I miss anything? Let me know on that too. Do you have any of these pressings? That would be really cool to hear too, if you got some of these pressings. Especially some of these from, like, that Orange Help from France. That's really cool. Any of those Japanese on red from 1982, those UK mono ones. Wow, those would be such cool versions to have. Especially that Obi strip on it was so cool. I think that was one of the coolest Obi strips I saw. And they all had that same kind of one. But anyways, before I get rambling too much more, I'm going to get fully signing out. I am Beatle Dustino, signing out.